What's up YouTube fam, it's your girl Danita Faith and welcome back to my YouTube channel. We are back with another reaction video to Love Island, and I'm gonna go ahead and let you all know this was a 90-minute episode, but hopefully I can condense it for you all so y'all ain't sitting here for forever, okay? But before we get started, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel and click that bell notification one good time so you know when I post new content, and also follow me on my socials. Now let's get into this recap. We're going to pick up right where we left off, which is Josh and Amie's date. So after their date finishes, Josh ends up bringing Amiee downstairs so she can kind of meet all the islanders. Everybody is pretty much friendly to her except Shannon, who's a little annoyed. She doesn't really say, hey girl, what's your name, you know, how are you? None of that. She's kind of sassy, throwing a little shade. She ain't with it. We then see that Amiee and Will kind of have a little connection because they both are vegan, as well as they are the only ones in the villa who speak Spanish. So they have a connection that him and Kira does not share, and Kira kind of sees that as competition. We then see Shannon kind of get upset with Josh because instead of kind of pulling her off to the side and giving her that reassurance that she wants after, you know, her partner goes on a date, he goes and takes Amiee on a tour of the kitchen and show her the fridge. So she's a little annoyed that he kind of put Amiee before her, and so she's not liking this whole situation at all. But Josh does finally pull her to the side and basically says, hey, the date went good, but like I told her about us, I told her we were very, very strong. You have nothing to worry about. And she's just like, no, you went to her first before you came to me. That upset me. And he's now seeing that Shannon, even though she says she didn't, she does have a jealousy side. And he's kind of seeing that as a red flag. And he ends up telling the boys that, and that he feels like a lot of the girls are intimidated by Amiee. As that's what it's supposed to be when a bombshell comes in. You kind of want to kind of get the OG members or whoever is currently on the island a little off their game when the bombshells come in, and that's what Amiee is doing. Jeremy doesn't think Josh did anything wrong. He's just like, hey, we're here to go on dates, get to know each other. I think Josh did what he's supposed to do. And Giovanni kind of calls Shannon a princess, and that, you know, that whole jealousy side is definitely something that Josh needs to kind of keep in the back of his mind. We then go on to the next day and we see Kira and Will, who wake up and they go and meditate, and like you would think these two have been married for years and they have their whole little morning ritual down pat. I'm just like, are the rumors true about y'all already knowing each other prior to coming here? Because that's what's swirling around the internet, is that y'all already know each other. So the way Will and Kira act, a lot of fans of the show are just like, yeah, they definitely knew each other before they came into the island. We also see Cash say that her and Cinco had a little snuggle, so they're getting a little more intimate in the bedroom as well. The ladies asked Trina, you know, how her night was with Jeremy, and she said, you know, she wanted to snuggle or whatever, but he said he was very tired and he just had a long day, and she understood. But while she's saying that, Jeremy talking to the boys, and he's just like, yeah, Trina wanted to cuddle, but I was like, no, and I kind of gave her the cold shoulder because I'm not really feeling her like that anymore. I don't really want to like jump her bones. I'm not that attractive. I don't want to dive deeper. Like, I'm kind of over the situation. But Trina thinks they're perfectly fine. She does feel like they should talk just to, you know, make sure they're on the same page, but she thinks that they're good. But little does she know, girl, your man's about to leave ya, okay? We then see Amiee pull chat. Lord, not who in the house is named Chat? Nobody. We then see Amiee pull Will for a chat. And basically he tells her, hey, I'm very, very happy with Kira. I'm liking what we got going on. And she's like, so you wouldn't be open to getting to know me? And he's like, I mean, I'm happy where I'm at. And she's like, okay, noted, got you. We then see Christian and Cash kind of talk, and they're talking about Trina and Jeremy. And basically Christian is just like, I don't like her. I can't stand Trina whatsoever. And Cash is like, why? Because, you know, her and Cash are like this. So she's like, what's going on? And he's just like, she's basically trying to trap my boy, talking about Jeremy, which I don't think Trina's trying to trap Jeremy. I just think Trina fell for Jeremy very, very quickly. Because Trina never said, you gotta stay with me, we gotta do long distance. She never put a gun to Jeremy's head. She was just like, how do you feel about long distance? What do you want out of the situation? Like the normal questions I feel like anybody would ask in her situation. So I don't know what Christian's talking about. I think he's just salty that she went with Jeremy instead of him. That's what I think he's really upset about. But basically, he also lets Cash know that Jeremy is basically 1 foot out the door. And he tells Cash, you know, don't go running off and telling, you know, Trina all of this. But basically, like, she about to lose him. And now Cash is like, I don't know what to do. Like, Christian's my boy. Trina's like a sister. Like, I don't know. Do I say something? Do I not? So she's very, very, like, conflicted with if she should tell Trina about what Jeremy is planning or not. Then see Amiee sitting with some of the cast members, and they're talking about open relationships, which she says she has been in one before, and honestly it just depends on who the guy is, if she wants him all to herself or if she's willing to share. So a lot of the guys are taking a mental note that, like, she may let me do my thing while she do her thing. So that's another, like, check that Amiee has beside her name. We then see Amiee get a text, and the text basically is just like, pick who you want to go on a date, get to know this guy, and have a great time. She ends up choosing Jeremy for the date, which Trina is a little upset because Amiee never came up to her and said, hey, I'm kind of feeling your man, FYI. So she's a little upset by it. Jeremy is ecstatic because he's been telling the guys, you know, for the past couple of days that he wants to get back out there. He wants to talk to other people. You know, he doesn't want to put all his eggs in Trina's basket. So he's super excited. He doesn't even hug or kiss or give Trina any reassurance. He goes right into the room to get ready. They go off on their date, and Cash makes sure Trina's good. And Trina's like, yeah, I'm fine. I just have to go pee. But, like, he can go do his thing. I'm A-okay. But we all know she ain't. She really on the inside. However, we see Kira and Will talking, and Kira is ecstatic that Will did not get chosen for the date because she sees that connection that they have, which Will does too. And he says, you know, I wouldn't mind talking to her, but, like, you and I are very, very strong, so breathe, relax, like, we're good, like, you're basically the girl for me, which gets Kira all teary-eyed and emotional because she's like, oh my gosh, oh, you're so sweet. So they're doing very well as of now. Then go off to the date, and their date is actually by a waterfall, so they have wine and some snacks, and Amiee and Jeremy have the best seat in the house because they can overlook the waterfall, so it was a pretty setup. Basically Jeremy is excited that Amiee picked him. He's just like, I can't wait to get to know you, and she's like vice versa. Meanwhile, Cash is basically telling Trina, without telling Trina, that Jeremy's leaving her. So she's like, look sis, just like, I know how you feel about Jeremy, but have your options open, you know, be open to whoever comes into the villa, because you never know. So she doesn't really break her word with Christian by saying like, hey, Jeremy's talking mad crap about you. But she does say, look, just be open. So hopefully Trina listens, but Trina is kind of like in one ear and out the other. But then we go back to the date, and basically they both are speaking on just how life is too short and you have to follow your heart and take chances and, you know, just blase blase. And then they're like smiling into each other's eyes, and Jeremy initiates a kiss. So the two share a kiss, which Mr. Slow down and don't want to move too quick, initiating a kiss with somebody else. That just goes to show me, especially, and everybody else who's watching, that he just wasn't that into Trina. It wasn't that he really wanted to go slow. He just wanted to go slow with Trina. So they end up kissing, and they both truly enjoy the kiss. Then we go back to the villa, and we see Shannon and Josh talking, and basically he brings up her whole jealousy side and how it was a red flag, and she apologizes for acting that way, that she didn't want him to see that side of her, but that did make her realize how her feelings are for him and that she is starting to develop these strong feelings for him. But they end up, you know, being okay. They share a kiss and a hug. They're solid again. We then see Cinco and Trina talking, and Cinco is just wanting to make sure Trina's okay because clearly she's not, because her man is on a date. And she's basically saying like she is a little upset about the whole situation, and she does feel like her and Jeremy should talk because they haven't really talked. Like, he rode out of the bed, they didn't really say much the whole day, he didn't come and talk to her before the date, so she can kind of sense that like he's starting to pull away, so she knows they should talk. She then brings up the fact that, you know, she kind of did, you know, pie Cinco because she was trying to stay loyal to Jeremy, and Cinco's just like, yeah, I don't really want to be your second choice, you know, ha ha ha. And she's like, yeah, I'm sorry, if I would have known then what I know now. And he's like, yeah, I'm still very much attracted to you, I just don't know a lot about you. And so Trina's just like, well, how are you and Cash? He's like, we're doing great, like, we are connecting, we're talking, I'm liking what we have going on. I don't know you enough to be like, I'll jump ship from Cash to Trina. So So clearly Trina is now trying to sell the seas with Mr. Cinco. We then see Jeremy return from his date all smitten and happy. He tells the fellas about the kiss, but he does not go up to Trina and tell her about the kiss. It actually takes him an hour before him and Trina even talk about anything. But when he does show up, the guys let him know that Will also got a text, and basically Amiee wanted to meet up with him as well for the date. Now Miss Kira, who was all ecstatic at the beginning, is now heartbroken because she's like, dang it, the girl got 2 dates and she chose my man. So now she's feeling like their relationship is like unsteady, because Will basically was like, I don't really want to get to know her like that, but now he's kind of giddy and happy that he gets the chance to talk to her more. So Kira's a little upset and also a little confused. We then go to Will and Amy's date, and they're in the exact same location that her and Jeremy were at. Yes, reuse the location. And they're basically just talking about, you know, the things that they have in common, and that she finds him the most attractive out of all the guys in the house. And he's like, thank you, I appreciate the compliment. And he's like, you know, I told you I wasn't really that interested, but you still chose me. So now that's making me kind of see you in a different light and be like, okay, this girl goes after what she wants. I like that. So Will is kind of feeling Amiee. And they just have a nice little chat. No kiss or anything like that, but they do connect enough. We then go back to the villa, and we see Kira and Trina just reeling, both very confused, very annoyed with Amiee. They don't like the situation at all. Will and Amiee finally return, and they are holding hands, which makes Kira kind of teary-eyed, because she's just like, oh my gosh, what if he actually likes her more than me? So just, you know, the things that happen when you see the person that you like kind of starting to flirt with somebody else. We then see Will take Kira off to talk, and he tells her like, hey, the date went really good, surprisingly, and I do want to get to know Amiee just a little bit more. So now Kira's upset, because she's just like, I wish you would have just came here and said it's you I want, nobody else. But he didn't. So she goes to the confessional and bawls her eyes out. But basically she's like, look, I wear my heart on my sleeve. Like, I don't regret letting Will know that I'm falling for him. It is what it is. We then finally see Jeremy pull Trina after an hour. And basically he's just like, the date went good, we had a nice little chat. He does not mention the kiss. And basically Trina has to pull out of him like what he wants. Like, you want to talk to Amiee, like that where you're at, like you're done with this. And finally Jeremy is just like, yeah, I just don't see a need to go deeper with you. Like, we tried, it didn't work out, I'm gonna try to see what can happen with Amiee. So Trina's upset, as she should be. Like, Jeremy basically was telling her one thing and the guy something else, because when Christian and Cash were talking, Cash was telling him like, none of the ladies even see Jeremy not being into Trina. Like, the way he acts around us all is like he's very much into Trina, but around his boys it's a different story. So Trina is clearly upset and has every right to be upset. And when he asked her, like, you know, is there anything else you want to say, and she's just like, no, I don't. Like, what do we have to talk about at this point? Nothing. We then see Cash and Olivia talk to Amiee, because they're clearly the only two whose guys that Amiee is not after. And they ask her how the date was, and she says it's really, really good. And she doesn't know who she would couple up with, because she enjoyed both dates as well as her date with Josh. We're now at the nighttime, and Cinco and Will are kind of talking about his date with Amiee. And basically Will just says, I'm feeling, you know, kind of feeling Amiee a little bit, but I think I want to stick with Kira, and I feel like I should let Kira know that right now. Like, just let her know, like, hey, despite what I said earlier, like, it's you that I want to continue getting to know and explore and everything like that. So he pulls Kira to the side and basically lets her know what his intentions are now, and that it's her that he wants. And Kira, like, is happy that he's telling her that, but she's also a little, like, confused, because she's like, you did a complete 180 in less than, like, 15 hours. Like, your whole mindset switched. So what was it that made you realize you don't want to talk to her? So Kira's a little like, but then she's still just like, because she's already in love with that man, I think. We then see Jeremy talking to Amiee, and basically he's just like, look, things with Trina is done, so you and I can definitely get to know each other. And she says she's very much open to that. She's also open to getting to know the other guys as well, but what her and Jeremy got going on is pretty nice, so she's enjoying her time. We then see Trina, and she realizes that she should probably give Amiee a second chance, because Amiee isn't the one that owed her anything. It was Jeremy that owed her something. So she feels like she probably can be a little nicer to Amiee, which I think she should be. It's now bedtime, and we see Kira and Will doing their thing, Shannon and Josh doing their thing, but we also see Cinco and Cash getting a little handsy, a little neck touchy, a little lip bitey. So I'm just like, okay, slow your roll down. Your mama watching, or your daddy, or your siblings, you know, just. But I'm glad my girl Cash is getting some loving. We then come to the next day, and we see Will, who actually makes breakfast for Kira. Again, this is a married couple. I'm telling you, they're a married couple. But he makes breakfast for Kira. Giovanni then gets a text that they have a challenge, and it's for the fellas, and it's called Babe Watch. So everybody is dressed up like lifeguards, and basically the guys one by one will slide down this like water slide, showing their dance moves, their magic Mike moves. They then run across this like sticky stuff, and then jump into this like pool thing with the stuff, not stuff, excuse me, but an inflatable shark, and the girls like spraying them with water, just trying to be as sexy as possible. And then afterwards they kiss the girl of their choice. So Corey goes first, and he chooses Amiee because he ain't coupled up with nobody. Might as well go after the new girl. And Amiee liked the kiss. She said it was a nice kiss. We then see Will, who felt like he did the best out of all the guys, and of course he goes and chooses Kira, who she's all about it. Then we see Jeremy, and Jeremy starts dancing, and then he goes and picks Amiee, which Amiee and him both say it was nice. Trina is annoyed. Then we see Christian, and he picks Olivia. Expected. Then we go to Giovanni, and he starts dancing, and basically he's just like, you know what, I gotta step it up. I gotta let Olivia know that I do want to get to know her, and that I'm more than just like a goofball. So he's dancing, showing his moves, and he goes to Olivia, pulls her, and slaps a good old big one on her, and Olivia is quite taken back by that kiss. She's just like, wait a minute. What? And she's also starting to find his like goofy side like more endearing than like lame, and she's just like, am I starting to like him? Like, is this happening? So I don't know. I told y'all earlier, stranger things have happened. We then see Cinco go, and he's dancing, moving, breaking it down, and then he goes and pulls Cash, picks my girl up. She wraps her legs around him, and they have a very, very long and passionate kiss. And again, Trina is not impressed, and I'm like, girl, don't wear your feelings on your face, hold it in. Because your jealousy is showing, your enviness is showing. That ain't cute. We then see Josh, and he goes and he's dancing, he's doing his thing, he throws his hat, Shannon catches it, so we're just like, okay, Josh is gonna choose Shannon. No, Josh goes and he chooses Amiee, who is standing right beside Shannon. So Shannon like afterwards just felt so like distraught and heartbroken, because she's just like, why would he do that? Like, what did I do to deserve that? You told me you didn't want to talk to her anymore, so why did you kiss her? And Josh is just like, I probably made a mistake, but I was going to do that anyway. It's like, I was going to kiss Amiee. That was my plan. But it's like, sir, you didn't think that through very well. And it's probably going to come back and bite you in the butt. At the end, the ladies get to choose who they felt like did the best job, and they ultimately go with Cinco, who, in my opinion, he did the best job. We then go back to the villa, and we see the ladies and the fellas all go off separately, and they have nice little discussions. Josh basically tells the guys like, hey, I was gonna pick Amiee, I just didn't think she was gonna be standing beside Shannon, and I didn't mean to throw my hat towards Shannon either. I just wanted to like get that what if out of my head, like, do Amiee and I have a connection of any sort? Is there a spark? And he also was just like, I felt like me and Shannon are pretty strong, so me doing that wasn't gonna really, you know, ruffle too many feathers. But it's like, sir, have you never been with a woman? It's gonna ruffle feathers. Make it make sense. Meanwhile, Shannon's telling the other girls that like she don't trust him. She's like, I don't know what his intentions are anymore. I don't know what I really did. Like, he told me one thing, but then he's doing something else. Shannon don't trust him, and I don't blame her. We then see her basically say she's giving Josh chance after chance, and he just keep making her look like an idiot on national television. So Shannon might chuck up the deuces and go somewhere else. We then see Olivia get a text, and basically it's like, hey, a recoupling is coming up, and whichever guy is left standing alone will be dumped from the island. So now it's time to get grafting, folks. So we have Shannon, who feels like at this point she might just pick Christian and just let Josh go home because she's just over him. But we see Giovanni and Olivia talk, and basically Giovanni's just like, hey, do what you want, follow your heart. I know you and Christian got something going on, but also remember about me and remember that kiss. And he ends up kissing her again, which she's just like, if there's one thing about Giovanni, he can kiss. So she's very much conflicted now because she basically put Giovanni in the friend zone, but now she's seeing this whole nother side of him that she's starting to like. We then see Shannon and Josh finally had their talk, and basically she tells him she is upset. She didn't like the kiss. She doesn't understand why he did it, and he comes up with this excuse that, you know, they're strong and he could have done it, and he didn't want to wait until 2-3 weeks later and somebody else comes in and he doesn't really know how strong him and Shannon really are. But Shannon is just like, you don't respect me, and I'm over it. Like, if we were in the outside world, I would not be putting up with this at all whatsoever. And when she walks away, y'all, Josh looks like a hurt puppy. Like, that man, like he was about to cry. His face was so red. It was funny, but I kind of felt bad for the boy. We then see Josh basically tell Giovanni, like, I screwed up, and Giovanni's like, hey, Shannon hasn't really talked to anybody else in the house, so I think you're okay. Even if she's upset with you, she probably gonna choose you. We then get ready for the actual recoupling, and everybody's stressed. Josh is stressed. Trina don't know what to do. Shannon's confused. We see Christian and Shannon basically talk, and Christian's like, look, do what you gotta do, follow your heart, but I got your back. What Josh did to you wasn't right, and I understand your anger. And she's like, thank you, I appreciate that, friend. We then see Corey and Trina talk, and basically Trina's just like, I wrote you off. I wasn't trying to give you a chance, but you know, I'm single, you're single, we might as well just see if this could be something. And he's like, yeah, I appreciate it, I definitely find you attractive. And she's like, yeah, you're sexy as well. Then see Olivia and Christian finally have a talk, and basically she lets him know, like, it's between you and Giovanni. I thought I was going to choose you right off rip, but I'm a little confused. And I mean, I'm not the biggest Christian fan, but Christian do be stirring his pot, and you kind of like that drama, you know, he be you kind of like that drama on reality shows. So, like, do I want to see Christian stay? Do I want to see him go? We then see Trina and Cinco have a conversation, and basically Trina tells him, like, she ain't like seeing him kiss Cash. And I'm like, girl, you had your chance to choose him and you chose Jeremy. Don't be trying to backtrack. No, no. But basically she's like, I still want to get to know you, but I also know you and Cash got what y'all got going on. So she's very much confused and doesn't know what to do. In my opinion, Trina and Cinco have every right to talk to each other, have every right to figure out they like each other. Just Cash should know. Like, don't blindside her, excuse me. Like, she should know, so tell her. We then see Josh and Shannon, and they have a talk, and he basically is just like begging at this point, like, I'm sorry baby, I messed up, I will never do it again, you can trust me. And Shannon is just like, next. Like, Shannon is not here for the excuses. She's over it, and Josh really doesn't know if he's gonna be saved at the recoupling or not. We then go to the recoupling, and we start off with Amiee. So Amiee basically is just like, this guy is sweet, he's kind, he's like the nicest person in the villa, and she thinks everybody in the villa would probably agree with her, and she ends up going with Jeremy, which Trina is like annoyed, as she's been the whole episode. Then we see Kira, and of course Kira go with Will. I ain't even gonna go down what she said because we all know sisters in love. Then we have Cash, and Cash is like, this guy is like protective and makes her, you know, feel seen and heard, and is a rock to her instead of her always having to be the rock for herself, and she chooses Cinco. We then go to Olivia, and she's basically just like, I always go the safe route, the route that I know, but maybe I should take a chance and try something new. And she surprises everybody and chooses Giovanni. And he kisses her when she chooses him, which everybody's just like, whoa now. Okay. So they have a little nice little smooch. And Christian looked butthurt. We then have Trina, and she starts to get emotional, and the waterworks start to fly, and basically saying it's been hard for her these past couple of days and trying to deal with everything. And while she's talking, Jeremy is like, had this smug look on his face, and I ain't like that. Like, you know she's crying because of you, so like, don't sit over there and be like kind of proud of it. Like, no, that's rude. Don't do that. But she basically like is up there kind of crying, which I feel like it was a little much in my opinion. But in the end, she ends up choosing Corey, even if it's just a friendship recoupling. And Ariel, who is actually there for this, is basically just like, hey, some of the best relationships start off as friends, so you never know. Then we go to Shannon, and basically she just like, she has to follow her heart, and she just hopes this person won't break her heart, and she ultimately goes with Josh. So unfortunately, Christian is dumped from the island. Cash and Jeremy are visibly the most hurt by him leaving, because they were probably the closest to him in the house. But he's like, you know what, you all find love, have a good time, and I will see you when I see you on the outside. Well, everybody, that is my recap of that long and eventful filled Love Island episode. You guys, it was 90 minutes. A 90-minute episode, and I got it down to what, under 30-ish? I think I did good. I think I did good. But if you like this video, please be sure to like it. Also, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel and join my lovely family. I would love to meet each and every one of you. But also remember to have a blessed and wonderful day, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye.